the Ravens did put a non-exclusive tag on Lamar Jackson. So correct me if I'm wrong, Malin, but that means that other teams can give him an offer.
Yes, he can negotiate with other teams.
Right, and the Ravens can match.
If they come up with an offer, the Ravens have 5 days to match it. And if they don't match it, then he gets to go to that team, and the Ravens get 2 first-round picks.
Yeah. Right. So, clock is ticking on this one, and it seems like the Ravens are just saying, "Okay, Lamar, you think you're worth this much? Let's see what the market actually thinks you're worth, and we'll go from there." What do you guys think ends up happening in this situation?
First of all, you got a lot of teams bowing out already.
Yep.
Because this is not Tom Brady going to the Bucks. You're talking about someone like Lamar Jackson, where they had to change their entire offensive scheme. Great quarterback, had to change the whole offensive scheme.
Yep.
Second of all, you want all this guaranteed money, but there's no guarantee that you're going to play 17 games next year. You haven't played a full season in 3 years. So why should they be giving you guaranteed money when you're not even guaranteed to play? Now, you can talk about the Deshaun Watson deal all we want. Just because the Browns are a bunch of dumbasses and make a deal like that with Deshaun Watson does not mean that then the Baltimore Ravens need to turn around and do the same thing.
Right.
So I just don't know what happens from here because he doesn't even have an agent. So who's calling and talking to these other teams? Is it his mom? Is he cold calling people? Is he calling up Washington and was like, "Hey, Snyder, I know you don't like women and black people, but I would love to be your quarterback for a fully guaranteed deal." Like, is that what's happening?
He probably is making the calls himself. Probably.
Like,
Playing Warzone.
but that's why. Well, that would be Kyler Murray. But that's why you get an agent, because in negotiations, you're going to say every reason why you should get all this money, and then the team is going to give you every reason why they shouldn't.
Right.
And you shouldn't have to be in the room.
Right.
Because they're going to break you down.
Yeah.
And yes, there's a lot of really good things about Lamar Jackson, but there's a lot of bad things that were probably said in these meetings that Lamar Jackson probably wasn't ready for. Because he didn't want to share a few percentage points on a contract that's going to be in the several hundred millions of dollars.
Yeah.
So I don't know. This full and guaranteed thing, he needs to drop it because he has not been healthy. There's no reason to believe that a team would want to give a fully guaranteed contract to him. He has not played as well as he did the year that he won the MVP, and that was in what, 2019? Yeah. So we're going into 4 years now, and he hasn't played the same since then. He's been good. He's been really good at times. I mean, hell, they were 7-3 last year before he got hurt. But he wasn't MVP Lamar Jackson.
Right.
So,
yeah, I've got a couple things on this one. I am taking a couple things from JT Sports, what he said on this earlier today. So shout out to JT, but he was basically made the comparison to like a normal job. Like if you're the employee that you're great, you're absolutely fantastic at your job, probably the best at what you do at your company, but you have substantial periods of time where you just don't show up for work because you're sick or whatever, and then you come to them and say, "I want this huge deal." They're probably gonna be like, "Well, we could, but if you had better attendance, then we could make that happen." It's like, you kind of can't expect, if your availability isn't that great, to get paid the top dollar. Two, this just goes to show the whole, you got to win on that rookie deal, because there's just not enough money to go around when the quarterback is making all of that money. Because once they pay Lamar, the Ravens have already shown they are not very good with getting skilled players anyway. So with that being said, how are they going to go out and get other good skilled players with very little money to move around? So these are the kind of snafus you get yourself into with those situations. And then last but not least, how do the Ravens keep finding themselves into these quarterback situations? Because they should have just came to him last year, year before, and got to him early and said, "Hey, we'll give you a Patrick Mahomes type deal where we'll just extend this out longer. That way, we're not so strapped for cash up front with these huge salaries that we got to pay you every year, so we can kick this thing down the road a bit." And I'm sure at that point, would be before the Deshaun Watson thing, he'd be a bit more like, "Okay, yeah, I'm down for that." But when he waits to the last minute to do things, kind of end up in these weird situations. So I think both parties are at fault here, but I think he's going to end up just staying there, and it'll stay ugly for another year or so. That's just me.
It's like Russell Wilson 2.0 right now.
Yeah. Go ahead, Shaq.
I agree. I feel like he's gonna end up staying there. He's gonna end up eating the money that whatever they want to pay him. Because, like you said, attendance wise, like because of your attendance and like I say, awful performance, but like average performance, we are barely performing above a team that's alternating between three quarterbacks, my team, and then another team who's can't keep his hands to himself and other people's hands to themselves. So it's like the fact that we're barely performing above those other teams because you can't show up and play, or two, you're just playing average football, and then all of a sudden you want to match all these other people who are doing moderately okay in their game. It's like we're not giving this money. It's like you going to work and doing subpar, showing up when he pleases. It's like I want to raise. Like, no, you just lucky we don't give you less money than what you're making now. Homeboys, just be happy. It's called ball out next year. Really show them what you got going on. Make playoffs without any questionable doubt. Which is going to be hard because now Cincinnati really feeling themselves, so it's going to be even harder for you to really show out. But you really got to prove a point that I am worth this money at this stage in your career. So
I think he just has to stay healthy.
yeah.
I mean,
Just stay healthy.
I understand that he looks at Deshaun Watson and be like, I've done more than what Deshaun Watson's done in the league. I can understand that.
Yeah.
But has he done more than Patrick Mahomes?
Exactly.
So Patrick Mahomes hasn't got a fully guaranteed contract because the Kansas City Chiefs aren't fucking stupid.
Right.
It like the Cleveland Browns, one of the worst organizations in the NFL, get to be the trendsetters
Right.
in what we're going to do with quarterback contracts. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And it doesn't hurt. It doesn't help him with some of the contracts we're going to be talking about with Derek Carr and Geno Smith and all those other people because they're not breaking the bank.
Right.
Those teams are getting. Well, I mean, the Saints are kind of crazy. We'll talk about that, but the Giants are stupid. We need to talk about that one.
Yeah.
But they're not breaking the bank, and yes, they're below him, but they could have catapulted him up into something else, but they didn't. Those are moderate contracts for this day and age.
Yeah.
So I think he just needs to come on. He needs to come off that perch and accept the 60 to 65% guaranteed money, which is what Baltimore was offering him, and stay healthy.
Yep.
That's all he needs to do.
Yep. Nestor, go ahead.
I know he's gonna stay in Baltimore, but I was thinking of like the top candidates for him. Well, Washington has the finances to go after him, but because they have Sam Howell, so they need a QB desperately. And then I was thinking my very own Miami. All it's gonna take is one more concussion for Tua, and he's gonna be in a retirement home.
They're
But
thinking like
then
Graven
again,
at
it'd be pretty
stadium.
messed up. It'd be pretty messed up to like tell Tua, you know what, fuck off. But
Not really. What are they going to do? Pay him a bunch of money next year?
well, I mean, if he
I
learns how
wouldn't.
to fall,
Very tough.
That's all
he
he
just
needs to do is learn how to fall. He needs to learn not to
That's
get
it.
hit. That's what he needs. It's not the falling.
There
Don't
you
tell
go.
him that.
If I
There you go.
trip and
There you
fall
go.
down, my hands don't turn into Edward Scissorhands. Like that's not the problem.
I
He
feel like
takes
he's
too many
falling with
hits.
his head, like he's putting all the weight on his head. I feel like that's
Okay, he's not Shaq out there playing for the Dolphins.
he wishes
I
he was
apologize,
Shaq.
Shaq.
I was
Yeah, you probably never have a concussion. Don't even need a helmet. I don't think they make one that big.
I love to see that maybe because I know the Panthers don't have the finances for that, but they were going after Derek Carr. So it'd be interesting to
Why would
see
you
the
want to
Panthers,
see Lamar Jackson in Carolina?
because that
What does
division is just gonna be
Carolina have?
hilarious to watch. That division would be
That's
just
such
so
a
hilarious.
bad. We already saw Carolina with Cam Newton. We don't need to see Carolina with Lamar Jackson.
What have I mean? We all thought Atlanta would be pretty nice.
Atlanta would. I think Atlanta and
I would be-
Washington. Atlanta and Washington. Those
Atlanta.
two teams.
I don't want to see. I don't want to see Washington have nothing nice.
I would just.
Shaq
I would
never
just
hated
want to
it.
watch the press conference when he's introduced, and okay, well, Dan Snyder wouldn't be allowed to be there right now, but I wish he would be. 'Cause that would be awesome to be able to see him have to be
Yes.
like, hey. I don't like you people, but you're my quarterback now, and I don't like your mom either because I don't respect women. That'd be great.
Not on this day though.
Not today.
I'm pretty sure Dan Snyder doesn't give a shit what day it is. Man, just disrespect everybody all the time. He don't care what day it is.